Hello everyone, welcome to episode 1 of Ginx Talks, the fortnightly gaming show by gamers, for gamers, where it gives you a chance to get to know a little bit about us, the games we love, and also some that we don't. But who are we? I'm Nico Alex.
And I'm Alex Hobbs.
And as I said, this is Ginx Talks. It's going to be a very, very simple, structured show that we're hoping gamers are going to love. And if you do love this type of content, be sure to hit that like button, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever a new Ginx Talks episode drops, and of course whenever any new Ginx content drops on our new YouTube channel. But for now, we'd like to get straight into this first section. Press start. Very quick rundown of some of the recent gaming news. That Nintendo Direct happened.
Yeah, that was pretty fun, right?
Pretty good, wasn't it?
Pretty good. It was surprising. Although, I was a little disappointed by it. Other than the new Zelda, great. Big fan of that. I think I just had some expectations of what I wanted to see, and it was a lot of just kind of like, I don't know, and now there's this anime game, which, you know, I'm a big weeb. I love anime, but it's like games and stuff, sure. And then other games that I wasn't quite pulling. We're at the end of Nintendo Switch lifespan. I was expecting a few more big hitters. So, I don't know. Maybe I've just got really high standards.
That really interesting, because I'm at completely the other end of the spectrum from you on that. I've been, unpopular opinion, I've actually been quite disappointed in the 8 years I've owned a Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
I've thought there was a real lack of, as you've just said, big hitter games. There've been some, don't get me wrong, and the ones that have come out I've loved, but it almost kind of feels like it's a handheld nostalgia. Here's your N64, your SNES, your NES passes, and it's like, well, I love all that, but give me some new stuff. And all of the directs of the last few years have left me a bit like, This one, man, Donkey Kong Returns, Metroid.
Okay, fair enough.
Dude.
Fair enough.
And the one that no one's talking about, and I'm like, how? Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm not even a fighting game fan, but memories of arcades and those sticky joysticks and the smell of bad popcorn and the bowling clinks in the background. Man, that's like some arcade 90s nostalgia right there. I'm like, I'm going to be able to take Ryu and make him fight Cyclops. Yes, give me this.
But will Nintendo do that? You know, will they give you those feelings? Like,
but on his little small screen.
On a little small screen. I mean, you can make your own stale popcorn and have it next to you and just, you know, take a whiff every now and then. But...
Stale popcorn.
Yeah.
I was impressed by that direct. I guess it does make me a bit sad to know that Metroid Prime 4 is effectively just going to be a crossover game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're getting it. It's long overdue.
How's it long been? Like 8 years? 8 years since it was announced? Something crazy like that.
Here's the crazy thing. We didn't even get a new Mario Kart on the Switch.
No, which, that, 100% shocked me. Because I was waiting for that. I was like, it's Prime, like...
Literally. Like, the expansion pass was cool, but like, what? An actual new Mario Kart game. They need to bring back Double Dash. Just putting that out there. I need 2 players on a kart again. I need that in my life. Elden Ring. Shadow of the Erdtree. I've heard it's hard.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. See, the people who are complaining about... I've got thoughts on this, all right? The people who have been complaining that it's hard are on like their New Game Plus 7 mode, have been like, yeah, I'm just going to cheese the whole thing. No, they've put tactics and mechanics in place to stop you from doing that. You need to go and explore, get the little like items that help you kind of boost up, and you'll have a great time. I love Elden Ring, and I'm not really a big...
Souls.
I like Souls. I like the idea of the Souls-like. I'm not very good at them. However, Elden Ring, I would consider myself a good Elden Ring player. It's a bold claim, but I think it's great.
You may have to teach me. I consider myself an absolute noob in the Souls, but I love Bloodborne.
Sure.
Like, adored it. Got to Father Gascoigne, beat him by cheesing him, and then the game decided to say, no, this is how hard it really gets now. And I went, no. It's beautiful. I want to be in this world, but no.
That was Baby Bloodborne.
Baby Bloodborne. And I was like, no, I submit. I cannot. I wish I could, because I know these games are amazing, but like...
I'm telling you, Elden Ring. It will reevaluate the way you think of Souls-likes.
I've seen that tree sentinel.
That's the least of your worries.
And see, that would annoy me. Here's the problem. And so has Shadow of the Erdtree elevated the difficulty, or it's just stopped the cheesing?
It's...
and it makes you do new builds, doesn't it?
Exactly. It encourages you to switch it up and try things. And yeah, it does kind of put a bit of like, you can't quite cheese this, you need to think a little bit more. But it's still the same sort of thing. It's still beautiful. It still gives you that freedom, which Souls-like games generally don't do. That's what annoyed me. It was like I die and I go back and do the same bit over and over again. Whereas Elden Ring, if I die and I die 5-10 times, I can go off and do something else. get a bit stronger.
Yes, but then you'll go off and die 5-10 times somewhere else.
No.
Okay.
No. That's where you need to get good. But look, it's great.
This is my problem.
We'll do it. All right. I will introduce you to Elden Ring properly.
We may need to do a live stream on the Ginx YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to.
I would
like help a noob play Elden Ring.
Yes.
Do it. Teach me. Right. So that's a little bit of the news that caught our eye. Things we're playing at the moment. What are we up to at the moment, Alex? What's on your personal gaming schedule at the moment?
I've been playing a hell of a lot of Final Fantasy XIV because the new expansion, I don't know when this is going to go out necessarily, but the new expansion, Dawn Trail, fully launches on July the 2nd. Early access starts tomorrow.
Okay.
I've been playing a lot, trying to like completely catch up with everything in time for Dawn Trail. We did the preview, which you'll see if you go onto our Ginx website. I did a written preview of it. It was great. I loved it. And I've just been really looking forward to it. And it's going to be a huge thing. And so I've just playing non-stop Final Fantasy XIV and Elden Ring, of course, but a lot of Final Fantasy XIV.
Anything you're looking forward to?
Specifically?
That's not GTA 6.
Oh, that's not. Fable, big Fable fan. So I'm excited.
Fable.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that comes out.
Okay. Fable. I'm a bit behind on this one because 2023 just seemed to be like a murderer's row of great games. Mm-hmm. I got a real backlog. So I'm finally on Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I know you're not a Star Wars fan. Trekkie over here. But yeah, look, I'm loving it. It's great. Having a bit of time to play Dead Island 2 with my mate who lives in Thailand. So we're doing a bit of Trans-Indian Ocean.
Cute.
Yeah, Trans-Indian Ocean gaming every Sunday, which is nice. Looking forward to, Metroid Prime 4, to be honest.
When's that coming out?
2025.
Okay.
2025. Around GTA 6 time.
Yeah, it's going to be a good year, 2025, I think.
Better than this year, I hope. It's been a bit flat. We've got Prince of Persia is pretty sweet, and there's been bits and bobs. It wasn't 2023, was it?
No.
But that's what's going on with us, and that's what's relatively going on in the gaming world, sort of, kind of. We now get on to our main mission. So, the main mission today, Alex, is, as it's episode 1 of Ginx Talks, we are going to get them to get to know us. And me to get to know you, as I said.
I'm so sorry.
And we're going to round off what are top 5 games, say it with me, of all time.
This is very exciting.
Yeah,
I think it's because I love just gushing about games that I love.
Yeah, and it's very much one of those, I'm sorry for things I've left off. Mm-hmm. Do you want to maybe mention some of your honourables first?
Well, yeah. First, Elden Ring, we've already touched on it. But I genuinely think it's one of the best games ever. Like I said, coming from someone who's not a big, Souls, absorber. Elden Ring is an incredibly, impeccably made game.
Yeah.
And a lot of fun. What other ones did I have? Oh, Sims Busting Out. Throw that out.
Sims?
PS2 era. I love a big Sims fan. Big Sims fan. Love them all. Played them all. But PS2 Sims Busting Out.
Okay.
It was a bit of something, It was a bit interesting. It was a little quirky. There's a storyline, which, you don't necessarily think of that with Sims games. It was just weirdness that I really enjoyed. And I think a final honourable mention, Spyro the Dragon, Gateway to Glimmer, the second one. I think in the US it's called Ripto's Rage or something silly like that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but in the UK it was Gateway to Glimmer. That was so fun, so cute. I was crushing it when they did those remasters of Spyro, the Reignite trilogy. I've platinumed all 3 games.
Yeah.
God, I loved that so much. Excellent games.
Mate, it's hard doing this list. It really, really is. Being a kid who was raised on Nintendo 64, that you're going to see a lot of Nintendo in my honourable mentions. One that I feel like after the recent blast at Wembley, one that I feel like I almost need to bat for, GoldenEye.
I'm surprised this isn't in your main 5.
It just misses out.
Ooh.
It just misses out. But man, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, all of these great modern shooters do not exist without GoldenEye.
You're right. It changed the game when it came to FPS games.
It really did. And
100%.
it was those little things like that first time. You've been programmed at this point to even in games like Doom, people are going to be screaming, but Doom came out first. Yes, it did. But think in Doom, to get through a door, what did you do? You find the correct color key card. GoldenEye, there's a lock. Pew!
Yeah, you just shoot it.
You shut the lock off.
My favorite thing, I used to play GoldenEye a lot with my dad growing up. Nintendo 64 was my first console.
Yeah.
And he would always hand me the controller when there was, I don't know what gun it was, but when you shot it, it left like rainbow marks on like the walls and stuff.
It wasn't a gun. That was a special cheat code you could put in.
Was it the cheat code?
Yeah, that was paintball mode.
Yes, he did that for me, and I was just like, I just loved just shooting on the walls of that. I found that.
Did you ever
so
write
good.
your name in paintball?
I think I tried. I definitely tried. I mean, using that like 64 like analog stick though, it's a bit
twitchy as anything. But that Z trigger underneath. Yes. Oh, mate.
It's a different vibe, isn't it?
Different vibe. Also from the 64 era, this was so close to going on. See, everyone talks about how great Mario Kart is, and it is. It's the one that had the legs. It's still with us today.
Yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing, man.
Oh, I never played it.
Oh my word, it was good. Had a story mode as well, which is kind of weird. Very weird, in fact. But no, karts, hovercrafts, and planes. Brilliant level design. Much like, you know, they're and replayability for missions. So it was like you must collect gold coins and win the race in first to unlock X specific level. It was just so well thought out, and it's one I'm shocked that we haven't seen a remake of.
Yeah, I would have thought like Nintendo would have brought that back. Because if they're doing all these remasters and remakes and reboots, that sounds like something that could have been done.
And lastly, this is just one that came to me last night, actually. I was thinking, because obviously I've mentioned GoldenEye, and I'm bringing in another shooter now, but I'm not a big shooter guy on the basis that I'm not crazy about the way modern shooters have gone with like battle passes and microtransactions, and the fact that to actually enjoy the multiplayer, you need to dedicate 10 plus hours a day on it to be good to play online.
Not a battle bus enjoyer?
Not my jam, but I'll tell you what, I do admire game series in first person shooters that really do something different and give you a great story.
Yeah.
BioShock Infinite.
Okay, yeah.
I love that, and people will be like, wait, not the first one? The first BioShock, amazing. I don't know. There was something about the idea of being up in the clouds and having this kind of hook that allowed you to spin around on the I guess you would call them roller coasters for the hands.
Yeah. Because, it was a great setting as well. Like, you thought you were going back under the sea. No, you're in the sky now. Yeah. Like, it was cool. It was a cool vibe. Very, very different. Very different.
And I loved what they did with BioShock Infinite. But yeah, those would be some honorables for me. You happy for me to go with my number 5?
Go for it. Go straight in. I want to know what you got to say, Nico. Tell me the goods.
Okay. This is in no order. The only thing that's in order is my number 1. That is immovable object. Nothing touches that. So the rest of these, I'm going to number them, but this could literally be shuffled into any order here. Mm-hmm. Uncharted 2.
Oh, 2.
Let me explain.
Go on.
Uncharted 1, I thought, did some very good stuff, but when you actually replay Uncharted 1, you do get this sensation that they were still figuring things out. Like, there are areas within levels where it's just like wave after wave after wave of enemies. And what Uncharted does so well is that it balances shootout sections, climbing sections, exploration sections, and really cool cutscenes. And that's why I lean Uncharted 2. It got that balance so right for me. I didn't get to an area and be like, okay, enough with a wave of enemies. Now I actually want to get back to exploring. And equally, Uncharted 3, I actually thought took a step back from Uncharted 2. It felt a bit janky in some spots. I will never forget that opening of Uncharted 2, where he wakes up, and he's like, oh, that's a lot of blood. Oh, that's my blood. I hope that's not my blood. And then camera pans out, and you're in a train hanging off the edge of a cliff.
Yes.
And I'm like, what is happening? And it just sends you straight in with, obviously, it's all automated in the way that you're climbing up the chain, and obviously a part will fall off, and a rock will nearly fall on you. It's all scripted, but it's scripted in such a way that you're in there, you're not hiding behind a fourth wall, and then you get up to the top of the mountain, you start walking, and the snow remains attached to you. And then you go near a fire and you can see the snow melting off in real time. I'm like, oh, okay, this is where we're at now in gaming. Okay, this is next level-ish.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. When I first got my PlayStation 4, I got it with it was like the Uncharted bundle. And I hadn't played Uncharted prior to that because I didn't have a PS3 or anything like that.
Okay.
I was a 360 girl. Then made the change to PlayStation 4.
Made.
And so, yeah. So for the only time, the only game I had was the Uncharted game. So I played through all 3 of them, and I would agree. Yeah, that sequence in 2, I was like, this is okay. They're stepping it up from. This is Sony edging into that cinematic aspect.
Completely.
I also think that Uncharted is one of the last very classic games because it's very structured in terms of here's level, you progress, off you go. You can complete it in about 10 hours. Yeah, I don't know. I respect it for how classic it is.
And if you want to hunt the Platinum Hall right here.
Did you do it?
I'm in the process of doing it. I've got the Platinum in 1, 3, and I'm still missing 2 and 4. 2 is a grind and a half because to play it in the time frame on extreme mode is hard.
Yes.
What's your number 5?
My number 5. Oh, it's a bit different. It's a bit of a sporty sort of fun. It's SSX Tricky. Did you ever play it? On the PlayStation 2.
I bow to you.
Oh, God, it was so good.
Yes.
And for so many reasons. How long have we got? Not long enough. I love it so much. Okay. I don't mind sports games at all. They're fine. I love a skateboarding game, but they kind of get very similar. SSX Tricky raised the bar in a way that was so different because it added so much personality, so much uniqueness to it. You've got this cast of characters, an ensemble cast of characters, by the way. You've got Lucy Lou's in it, one of the Arquettes, I don't know which one, Macy Gray, all of these cool people are voicing these characters. You got it's so fun. And you're just racing down these very cool, very extreme courses.
Yeah.
They're so fun. Pulling off these Uber moves. Fun soundtrack.
Oh, the Uber moves.
And then, because then you pull off all these tricks, you get all the Uber moves, and then you're like, oh, I've just got unlimited speed boost for the rest of the map.
Yeah.
It's so fun. And the rival system, I loved it. I was like, oh my God, I can just build these friendships within these people or enemies because I shoved someone a bit too hard. Sorry, Marisol, I was an Elise stan. That's
that was going to be my question. Actually, was Elise your girl?
Elise was my girl. Yeah. She, I don't know.
Simon.
Oh, really?
Simon.
Oh, okay, I can see that.
Loved Simon and his Uber moves where he's literally doing a slice the head move with the board spinning around him. So good. I'm having an epiphany.
And Simon's a good example of this. Yeah. It was so 2000s. It was the most quintessentially 2000s thing in the world, from the dress sense to the character types to everything.
To the white dude with the big afro.
Yes, exactly. Eddie. Love Eddie.
The worm on the board.
Yes,
the worm on the board.
Good.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
Dude.
Can you name all the characters? I don't know. I think I can.
We couldn't name all of them. Absolutely
Elise,
not.
Eddie, Cowrie, Brody, Simon. Was Zoe in it? I think Zoe was in it. Marisol. Sia.
Wasn't there a Ricky Winterborn in it who was a crossover character from 1080? Or am I going mad?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
No.
Moby.
No. Ricky Winterborn also ended up in Wave Race. There's a throwback.
So I've not played Wave Race. I remember I loved SSX Tricky so much that I rented one of those snowboarding peripherals that you would get from Blockbuster to try and play it on the thing. Impossible. You can't play any game with those. It's an absolute gimmick through and through.
Yep.
But I was so into it. I was all over that.
Dude, what a great game and what a memory. What was that crazy level with all the pipes?
Tokyo Megaplex.
Thank you. Oh my God, the amount of time I spent on that trying to top score it.
So tough.
Oh.
So tough, but so interesting and so replayable.
Yeah.
And that's what you don't get from a lot of these. It's the same 5-6 courses, whatever, but it's something about it just
No. You can replay that. You try in different characters. You have to pick your timing on when to do the Uber move. Is the drop big enough?
You unlock outfits, you unlock boards. It was.
I didn't even know you could charge up your spin rotation. It took me months of gaming, and then my little cousin, who was 3 years old, came and picked up the pad, and then he started spinning like crazy. I'm like, how are you getting the character to do that? He's like, oh, just hold left before you jump.
Just do it, bro.
Literally, just get good.
Just get good. This game's been out for ages.
Mate.
Such a good game.
So, okay, we're talking about a lot of games that reinvented stuff here. Uncharted, SSX. I'm going to keep that ball rolling with my number 4.
Go on.
I'm going back to PS1 era here.
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
Metal Gear Solid, which I still maintain amongst the 5 Metal Gear and its spin-off, which is brilliant. And I don't mean that missions thing. I mean the one with Raiden, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, I think it was called.
Yes.
Platinum Games made that. It's fantastic. The original Metal Gear Solid, unreal. The storytelling, the voice acting, the way the NPCs actually interacted with you. There was not a gamer alive who didn't know the soundbite. huh? Whose footprints are these? You realise you could leave prints. Very snowy themed, apparently. Uncharted, SSX, Metal Gear.
Yeah, actually, interesting.
There wasn't a gamer who played that who didn't make the mistake of, I'll just run past. Oh, wait, guard's coming back. Let me duck behind here. And you left your footprints. And it was... But then the inventiveness of how you would face the bosses, Sniper Wolf and Revolver Ocelot, these incredible cast of characters you had to play with. And of course, come on now, Psycho Mantis.
Yes, 100%.
In order to beat me, change the control port.
Incredible.
You can't do that nowadays. So I've actually got the remake of Metal Gear Solid 1, that volume 1 they released. I haven't played it yet, but I'm like, how are they going to cope with that Psycho Mantis scene? Because it's so clever for them to program the game in a way that your controller would stop working unless you put it in port 2.
How would you ever figure that out? And also, it's reading your game memory card.
Yeah. It's reading your game memory card.
It's reading it, just ways to make a gamer go, wait a minute, what? Stop you in your tracks moment.
And of course, do you remember, in order to get the codec sequence, you have to look on the back of the box.
Ridiculous.
Do you remember that? And it's like...
Kojima, you brilliant man.
What back of the box? And then you start trying to look at, because you could wear the cardboard box and you're like, am I meant to... Is there a number on the cardboard box? And you, like an idiot, get really close to the TV and then you realise, no, Kojima's breaking the fourth wall. Pick up your physical game disc box... Because we used to have those before we went all digital, and I'm still a champion for that stuff. Turn it around, and there's a screenshot with the codec sequence you need. I mean...
Guy was thinking next level. You don't see that creativity anywhere in anything, because I guess you can't, because as we've progressed, we've gotten more limitations to them. And that's what we're missing now. Metal Gear's such a good shout.
Stick that up your battle pass.
Yeah, do that, Fortnite. I saw you adding Metal Gear snakes in there. Metal Gear snakes? I saw you adding Solid Snake into Fortnite.
It's not him. So good.
Excellent.
That's in my top 5.
Excellent pick.
What's your next?
Mine is, again, we're going for innovations. But everyone, if you've watched many Ginx streams, you'll know I'm a massive Elder Scrolls fan, right? Mm-hmm. But somewhat controversially, my favorite Elder Scrolls game is not Skyrim, it's not Oblivion, it's Morrowind, the third one, which you got on the original Xbox and PC. Mm-hmm. It's very dated now, but it did things that other Elder Scrolls games have never done since. It is so kind of almost unforgiving in a really beautiful way. You have to work out everything, you have to fully throw yourself into role-playing this game, because you make notes in your journal, you have to read your journal notes in order to work out where you're going for this quest, who you need to speak to.
Deep.
You need to get deep, and your magic, you're not just going to be this excellent magic caster if you want to be a mage user. You have to roll the dice a bit. Sometimes you're going to fail at casting that spell in the heat of the moment, and it's gonna mess you up.
You had me until you talked about mage. Sneaky archer for the win, mate.
You can do that. You can do that too. But I think I always went with more of a magic warrior. I would always have a magic sword or something and going through, and the music was so good and the setting was amazing. So when Elder Scrolls Online came back around and their first expansion was we're going back to Morrowind, I was like, yes, I'm there. You've reimagined this land that you've reimagined Vardenfell that I love so much. You've modernized it somewhat. And you've brought the music back as reorchestrated music. It was so good. Morrowind is my favorite Elder Scrolls game. I mean, it's on my list. It's my number 4.
Very interesting. It wouldn't have been mine, but listen, I haven't actually played Morrowind. To be fair, I've only got a choice between Oblivion and Skyrim.
Well, this is the thing.
Skyrim,
a lot of people haven't played Morrowind because it is old. I mean, it's been ported obviously to Steam and stuff, but it is outdated now. It's probably hard to play if you don't have the nostalgia for it.
You got to look at it with a different lens and try and find what it was trying to do. Let me ask you this, as a big Elder Scrolls fan.
Yes.
Bethesda are not on a winning run at the moment.
No.
I'm sorry, the Fallout games, meh. Starlight was meh. How excited as a result of that, or hopeful, I should say, are you for Elder Scrolls 6?
It's tricky, because I love the setting. I love the game so much, and I think so much is riding on Bethesda to get this right.
Oh, they have to.
Because I think, and I genuinely think this, if Elder Scrolls 6 does not land, if it fails, if it is
they're in trouble. They're in trouble then.
Exactly. I think Bethesda's they're on their last legs.
Yeah.
And it's just the same because I love Bethesda games. I love Fallout. I love all those. But like you, Starfield didn't connect with me.
Or anyone,
I've tried it 3 times. I get to the same point thereabouts, and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, it's like, this isn't the love of like the adventure that I really love from these games.
Yep.
So yeah, I genuinely think that they need to take a step back and think about what made these games so great in the first place. Go back to the Morrowind route, you know, just like give people a bit of more of like excitement and
the randomness of it.
No more cliff races though. They are a burden and they should remain dead. The randomness of it.
You know, the fact you could be walking Skyrim, for instance, you could be walking around and look, dragon.
Yeah.
Just random dragon appears.
Oh no, like... I don't want to. Giant. Cool. I'm gonna go take that. Oh, I can't. I'm up in the air now. Yeah. Lydia's dead. What do I do?
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. And so maybe controversially, I think that Bethesda, this could be their last chance.
I don't think it's controversial at all. Listen, it's the same in any medium form. It's very much 3 strikes and you're out.
Yeah.
You know, they need a home run with this one. When it's coming, God knows. But okay, my next one, I'm gonna go modern. And listen, I love modern games. I've obviously got rose-tinted nostalgia glasses for the older stuff, but it's something that has come the closest to being what my number 1 is. It's God of War Ragnarok.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever experienced anything as close to perfection as this game. Even my number 1, because obviously things have aged, things have changed. I can't pick this game apart and find fault with it. It's well paced. It's all killer, no filler. The voice acting is incredible. The execution to do this whole thing as a single take, as in you don't know when you're in a cutscene, when you're not. Like the graphics remain constant throughout. And the fighting choreography, the use of the weapons, some of the puzzles, even the kind of menial things like find Odin's ravens. It was all really fun. And that's such like a word that gets forgotten. It's about, is it good? Is it like challenging? Forget all that. Big F word. Fun.
Like, I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, hang on a minute.
No, like I couldn't put it down.
Sure.
70 hours to platinum. Happy I did it. Gunnar, the bloody Valkyrie boss, must have taken up a good 10th of that time. Oh, that was difficult. But I'm glad I did it, got my platinum, and honestly, between the weapon management, between the going back and forth, this big open world, and the world, oh my God, it was beautiful. Have you played God of War Ragnarok, or am I talking into the wind?
No, I have. And when you mentioned those Odin's Ravens, I got a bit of a because when it came out, I was working at a different outlet, but I was doing guides for it. And so I had to find a place for every one of those goddamn ravens. Yeah. So I agree with you in that, like, it is great, 100%. I definitely enjoyed it a lot better than the first one.
Yeah,
100%.
Right.
I thought it was just way more together, way more like it worked out so much better.
It really did.
But I was guiding it at the time, so that always leaves a bit of a cloud hanging over your head sometimes because you're like, I couldn't play that one for me. And this is a problem I think that a lot of games journalists have as well, is when they kind of have to balance it between reviews and guides and stuff. You're not playing them necessarily for you all the times, which is great if they connect with you while you're doing that. Incredible, amazing.
But you're looking to analyze, not embrace the euphoria.
Exactly. You've got other things in mind when you do it. So.
Of course.
But no, I agree with you. It is good. You're a bit of a Sony boy, aren't you? These 3:
Sony, Nintendo,
Uncharted, Metal Gear, God of War Ragnarok.
Might be a bit of a mark, yeah.
What podcast is it? What are we doing here? Like, this is.
Don't worry, I got you.
All right.
I got you. We're changing.
Fine. To be honest, though, I think all of my picks, apart from Morrowind, have been relatively PlayStation as well, because that's what I had growing up.
This is it. You can only base the love off of what you had. So here's a fun one. I actually owned the original Xbox, and I didn't like it.
Okay.
Didn't like it. Like, I bought it when it was that ridiculously high. I think it was like 400 quid for the OG Xbox. It was horrible, which back then was a lot of money. Even now it's a lot of money. And I got Halo, and I can't even remember what else I got. To be fair, I got a game called Star Wars Obi-Wan, which was pretty good with the lightsaber combat. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, I didn't like the controller. It didn't connect with me. And I actually sold my Xbox and went and bought a Nintendo GameCube in its place with the money I got from the Xbox. Best decision I ever made.
Some good games on that one.
Oh, mate. And that was the one time I dabbled with Microsoft, and I've never really gone back.
Really?
I don't like the controller.
Sure, okay.
Wow. It's such a thing. It's such an important thing that sometimes gets overlooked or not thought about enough. It just needs to sit well in your hands.
Yeah.
Which is why I love that 64 controller with its Z trigger. Which is why I thought the GameCube, which had its curved R trigger and L trigger, was so good, and the placement of the buttons felt natural. It was, I don't know, man. I'm a stickler for a controller, and the Xbox One isn't the one for me. And I know there's people out there who are like, "Are you mad? It's the best controller," but it doesn't work for me.
How did you find that DualSense though when you're playing Ragnarok? Just coming back to that for a second.
Do you know actually? It's not even Ragnarok that I think the best DualSense experience is. It's Astro's Playroom.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%.
When he's walking around on ice and you can feel the little in the controller, it's beautiful.
I mean, it was designed to show you exactly what was going on with that, though, wasn't it?
It did a good job.
It did a good job.
It did a good job. What's your next one?
My next one. This is a game that's very formative for me in a lot of ways. It's another PlayStation game.
Oh, I see.
So
throwing shade and then backing up.
I called you back, but actually I'm a massive hypocrite. Check that. It's Kingdom Hearts. Did you play Kingdom Hearts?
Not enough. I only played the first 3 hours of Kingdom Hearts. I know. That
hurt me a little bit. Oh, God.
Not out of choice.
I'm about to leave, by the way. That's... cut this. No. Not out of choice. Fair enough.
Not out of choice. Do you know what? It's... When you're a kid, you ask for games for Christmas for your birthday. You end up with stacks of them, and you kind of just dibble-dabble in and out of them. I don't know why I never committed to Kingdom Hearts, and I regret it. Because I am a Disney baby. I do like RPGs.
Yeah. And you like Final Fantasy too. It's the mixing of worlds,
I know.
Nico.
I know.
It's like,
and I've still got not Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 in discs, sitting in plastic at home. I've got them ready to go.
Sitting in plastic?
Oh, mate, I've got them in nice little...
Oh, I see. I thought you meant because it's considered still wrapped. I was like, you are sitting on that?
Yeah.
Ooh. Kingdom Hearts. Honestly, a game that I think I made my personality when I can't remember when it came out, 2003, 2004, something like that. So I was like prime years to absorb all of this. Disney, I'd been exposed to a bit of Final Fantasy, so this was everything. My first interaction with Kingdom Hearts, I remember seeing an advert for it on TV. Remember those? Game adverts on TV? Ha ha ha. And then getting a demo disc. Again, remember those? And having playing that, not Besaid Island, that's Final Fantasy X. Playing Destiny Islands, that opening bit on it. Mm-hmm. Great, beautiful, never seen anything like it. And then renting it from Blockbuster because I needed it then. Because back in those days, I couldn't just have new games all the time. My access to this was largely controlled by Blockbuster. Remember that?
Beautiful thing.
Wonderful thing.
Beautiful thing.
I would rent it. Probably rented about 3 times before I was able to kind of get my own copy for it for Christmas. And I just consumed every inch of it, every inch that I could. And because it was I don't know, my first real experience into what kind of very anime style characters, very colorful characters, kind of edgy. Riku, you must have gotten far enough to see Riku, Sora's rival / best friend.
Yes.
My OG, man.
My OG.
My OG. That was the time. But it was so good. The combat is so fun and so intuitive, and also incredibly difficult if you wanted it to be. 100%. The Sephiroth fight in Kingdom Hearts, I don't think I ever beat.
Sephiroth is in Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, my guy. Cloud Strife's in it. Sephiroth's in it.
Oh, sick!
Leon is in it, Squirrel Leon Hunt.
And also Mickey Mouse.
And also Mickey Mouse. First, hang on. Can you do a Goofy?
Oh, yep.
Because that's also ridiculous. Why is this anime boy fighting alongside Donald Duck and Goofy? These little dark creature minions. Music's also incredible, by the way.
Yes, that I did know.
Opening Dearly Beloved, it's gives you chills every time. And then you've got that opening cutscene with Simple and Clean. I was I had never experienced anything like that in my life.
Yeah.
Just this is the game. And I think a lot of people can kind of connect with this because it was that bridging of worlds. Bringing Disney, something kids know very, very well.
And you're not a Disney baby.
No, I'm not. Not a Disney baby at all. But I'd watched, obviously, in the 90s, I'd watched all these videos. Remember those? of like Lion King was my favorite, and obviously Toy Story and all those. So I did love those movies, but it was never like my core personality.
Fair.
But you recognize those characters, you recognize those things, and then you bring them into a world where there's like gameplay and mechanics and this darker side when it comes to like Final Fantasy and things like that, and these characters that have been melded into it, and you got something really special on your hands. Like, it was a bizarre choice. Like, if you were to pitch Kingdom Hearts today, people would be like, what are you on about? Like,
I'd actually say they need to do another one and get in people like Moana and Anna and Elsa.
Well, they should.
Yeah.
But the problem is, when they did Kingdom Hearts 3, there was almost no Final Fantasy present until like the DLC. And I was like, I need the duality. I need the crossover for it to be like what it was. And they kind of took that away. Disney kind of realized that they had something really special on their hands. And they said, hey, Square Enix, how about you don't put your beloved characters in it and we just do ours and see how that goes.
Very Disney.
And I was like, But the gameplay was fun, but like it missed that special touch. But Kingdom Hearts 1.
Kingdom Hearts 1. Okay. Is
don't play
Aladdin
Kingdom
in it?
Yes.
Hold my babe, I'm going to play it now.
Yes. That's a great world as well.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
Agrabah.
100%. Yeah, Aladdin's in it.
Awesome. Oh, yeah, well, okay, now I need to play it.
But it's not Robin Williams voicing Genie. I think it's Dan Castellaneta.
Oh, it's Aladdin too.
Sorry.
Fine. I got a fun Blockbuster story for you, though, actually.
Go on.
I own in my large collection of physical media.
Remember that?
Home. Remember that? A copy of Tekken 3 that says on the front, for rental only, not for resale. It was I didn't even keep it. Here's the mad thing. I wasn't finessing Blockbuster.
Say, are you a thief?
No, legitimately. Rented it. And you never give a thing back on the day you should, and then you go back and you pay the additional fee, and it's like, whatever. Everyone did it, right? I kept, because I was loving Tekken, I wasn't like, this isn't going back after 3 days. No, this was a 1 week long. Mum was very angry because that meant, what was it, like £1.50 a day for an additional...
racks up.
Yeah. So it was like nearly a tenner extra for a game that I should have only had for 3 days. I go to take it back and Blockbuster wasn't there. Kind of not my fault.
Because if you never take a game back, is there ever really a charge? You did kind of wrangle the system. You're still a thief. You're still a criminal.
An unintentional thief. Let the record show. I tried to return it.
You tried to do the good thing 10 days
I tried
later.
to do the... 4 days. No, man. It's one of those really fun, like, little kind of trophies I've got. Like, hey, look, for rental only. I'll bring that in, actually. I'll show it to you. It's a lot of fun.
Tekken 2 was my favorite, my one on PS1.
Tekken 2. A lot of people are in Tekken 2. I was always a Tekken 3 guy. No, Tekken 2 was a banger, though.
King was my guy.
Oh, you and my mate Dennis would get along so much. Hwarang.
Oh, okay.
Hwarang. I like them kicks. My number 2.
Go on.
My number 2. Let's go handheld.
I would love to.
Pokemon.
Oh,
The original Pokemon. Never in my entire life history of gaming have I played a game more than the original Pokemon. And when you loaded it up, it would show you the hours, like how many you've played.
Yeah.
4 digits.
4 digits?
4 digits.
That's insane.
No, unhealthy.
Yeah.
Like the Japanese...
How many batteries did you go through?
So many batteries.
You might have contributed to the climate crisis by playing
I
that
might,
much of
literally.
Pokemon.
Literally. You see those lithium fields that are being dug up in Bolivia? My bad, guys.
That's all. My
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. No, like 4 digits on that bad boy. And, I mean, I say 4 digits. It can only go up to 999.
So you actually don't know?
I actually don't know because I played beyond the 999.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
I actually don't know what my total time was, but it was higher than the 3999 digits allowed. But here's the crazy thing. I wasn't the only one at school who had that on their loading screen. It became like a badge of honor. There were 5 or 6 of us who had the 999 loading screen. And here's the crazy part. It became such a thing in our school, as it did with every school, of course. And I'm sure we're not original with the idea of this, but we created our own Elite Four.
That's so cute.
It was so cute.
So cute.
And so we'd every day come armed with 8 batteries, and we set up an
8 batteries.
8 batteries just for recreation time, right?
Yep.
And there would literally be, it was amazing. We really created a special little community. there was a queue of people waiting to challenge the individual members of our Elite Four.
Love that.
It was so if you beat me, I was the first member. I wasn't the best of the 5 guys technically. I was in it.
Yeah, I mean Elite Four. Elite Four is still the Elite Four.
That's it.
Let it be known.
Let it be known. I was in there, and you
weren't number 1, but
I wasn't the champion. that goes to my good friend Thibaut Chang. Thibaut Chang, who was a French Chinese migrant student, one of the loveliest guys I've ever met, and was unbeatable.
I mean, wow.
Unbeatable. He didn't lose. He literally got his crown and kept that crown until we stopped playing Pokemon at school because it got banned. Because then we started playing like under our desks and stuff. You remember those days? It's like, Mr. Lero, do you want to come up and solve the problem? Huh? No, I'll take the 0. back to Charizard smacking up people, and yes, Charmander was my starter.
Yeah, I mean, fire was so much cooler when you were a kid, right?
So much.
It was
like why would you want a
fire.
Squirtle? You can get water Pokemon everywhere. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want Squirtle because I will evolve Magikarp into a Gyarados, which is amazing.
And you're sort of, it's like, do you want a turtle, a leaf, or a fire dragon?
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Dragon. It's going to be the fire dragon.
100%. Was yours Pokemon red or blue or yellow?
So here's a fun one. I started with, I want to say red. Yeah, it was red because it had Charizard on the cover, and that was my guy. So I got, of course it was. It was Pokemon Red. I got Pokemon Yellow because I wanted Mew.
Yes, that's
you know. So you get the 150 Pokemon. Which, by the way, can I just say, little condemnation on modern Pokemon. What is with this 700 Pokemon collecting? It's too much.
It is too much.
It's actually too much. Now,
what are they shaped like?
Evolve it with this berry, and it's got to be this. Dead all that.
And bond it under the shining of a cold winter's night.
No. And I don't like the
level
way
35 and it's gonna like it.
Yes. And I don't like the way that the battle systems changed. Before it was literally just like play a lot, get it up to level 100, slam it with a load of iron, zinc, calcium, and protein to get its stats up.
Yeah.
Use the Messinho cheat so you could get unlimited protein. Yeah, if you know the Messinho cheat, you are a proper gamer. Use the Messinho cheat on, what was the island called? The volcanic island where the 7th boss was. Because that was the island you had to skate up and down to in order to meet Messinho.
God, I can't remember.
Oh God, this is getting deep here, isn't it? Love it. God, I love Pokemon. So I got Yellow to get all the Pokedex again, and then get Mew from Professor Oak. And this is how much of a nerd I was. Is one of you remember those? Magazines.
Well, what is a magazine? I don't understand.
Gaming magazines.
You mean the things I look at on my phone?
Those things, yes, the very ones. One of the editors, I think it was Nintendo Life or Nintendo Direct. It was just all official Nintendo magazine. Yeah. Anyway, one of their editors was like a mad Pokemon guy, and he would always end up at the conventions. And the challenge was, if you beat him, they were partners with Nintendo. They'd transfer a special Pokemon onto your game drive. Smashed him up.
Really?
Yep, smashed him up.
So you got a special Pokemon?
Yep.
What was your What special Pokemon?
It was just Mew with a hat.
I bet you were thinking when you were like queuing up for that. Oh my
god, it's going to be something from Gold and Silver, which isn't even a thing yet.
Exactly, it's going to be like a brand new one. I'm going to be the only guy to have it. No,
Mew with a hat.
Mew with a hat.
It was Mew with a hat, or it was literally a cowboy hat.
Sick.
It was actually quite sick. But Mew did have a stat boost.
Right.
Mew with a hat had a stat boost, and here's the cool thing: because Mew, unlike Mewtwo, couldn't use Recover.
Right.
So in order for Mew to recover itself, you had to teach it soft-boiled. I'm getting deep here. You had to teach it soft-boiled, right? Which didn't give you as much recovery health as Recover did with Mewtwo.
Yeah.
And they actually preloaded Cowboy Mew with Recover.
Oh,
so it was like,
okay.
And now we play.
I see.
Now we play.
That's nuts. What's your favorite Pokemon, like of the first 151?
It's Charizard.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love him, man. Like, it's a toss-up between Charizard, Gyarados, or maybe Articuno.
Okay.
I think Articuno is such a beautiful design.
It is. We spoke about this,
beautiful.
Didn't we?
Yeah.
Of the three birds. Mine was, for those 3 legendaries, Articuno, great, and big for the ice. But my favorite Pokemon is actually Slowpoke.
You mentioned, yeah. Unevolved, no Slowbro.
No, exactly. I will never evolve my Slowpoke. I will just turn him into a wonderful pink tank. He's so cute. Tank. Like, and there's little noise he makes. Like, it's great. I love Slowpoke. Like, not for any, like, battle reasons. Like, because I would be like, Charizard or something.
What's the noise it makes, Alex?
Oh, I don't know how to do it. It's like, oh, you're one.
Slowpoke.
Oh, in the anime?
In the anime.
Yeah. God. Do you know I actually never bought a copy of Pokemon because...
Wait, what? Now you've hurt me.
Hang on. No. Get ready for this. My dad used to be he's still a bus driver now, but he used to drive buses and coaches, and he used to do a lot of school runs. Mm-hmm. And sometimes kids and people in general leave things on these buses and they don't claim them. So I ended up...
Oh, and I'm the thief. I see where this is going.
No.
Right.
I didn't steal it personally. Are you calling my dad a thief, by the way?
Depends where this story goes.
So what would happen is kids would leave all sorts of random stuff. The only thing he wasn't allowed to take, obviously, was money. So that would kind of... I don't know what happened to that. Don't ask questions when you're 6 years old, whatever. The kids would leave copies of cartridges, basically, like of like Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red, and if they don't claim them after a certain time, they've got to go somewhere. They can't, and you know, it's either they get destroyed or like, you know, something else happens to it. My dad, who is the reason that I enjoy gaming in general, decided that he would acquire this Pokemon Blue for me, and that's how I got my first copy. It was kind of bestowed upon me, left by the gods, if you will, for me to claim, and then 3 months later, it happened again. And my dad, forgetting which Pokemon I had, was then like, I've got you Pokemon Blue. And I was like, Father, I already have Pokemon Blue. And he's like, well, now you have 2. And I was like, okay. So I would have 2, like, I don't know. I would always forget which one I was putting in, but I guess it didn't really matter.
People like that Blastoise cartridge, didn't they?
Yeah.
Tell you, man, Charizard for the win. Did you play any of the others, like Yellow, Gold, Silver, Diamond, Pearl?
Which one had Lugia on the front? Was that Chris?
Gold and Silver.
Silver I played a lot of, because that was when it was Game Boy Color, wasn't it?
Yep, Game Boy Color, and it was 16 badges. You would start in Kanto, and then you... Sorry if I'm getting the name wrong, it's been a while. You would start in Kanto, and then you'd... I know, right? And then you'd actually, after having beaten Kanto's Elite Four, go back to Johto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was insane to be like, oh,
so
there's
cool,
more.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, cool. It's the same as 4. I'm just gonna make my way and I'm done.
Short-term nostalgia.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's more.
There's more. Here's a ticket on the ferry. What do I need the ferry for? Oh, there's another 8 badges. What?
You what, mate? Oh, incredible. Yeah, I love that.
Such a great vibe, man.
That.
Just everything about that. The community we had at school, the amount of trouble I would get into in classes. Because, I mean, mate, when I say obsessive, it was like... What are the Japanese going to introduce to the kids next? Well, here's some crack. Like,
yeah, basically.
It was a drug they introduced to us.
So
I have never
Pokemon
seen people... Like, yes, I know it's still a thing now. And I know there is still an insane fandom around it now.
Not like it was.
Not like... I've never seen something... I mean, the cards, the anime show, which was not on, like... You'd have to dig into the deep corners of the internet. No. This was televised national TV. It was on the Ant and Dec show.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
What was it called? SMTV.
SMTV. Every Saturday morning, 9:30, new episode of Pokemon.
They do their Silly Little Friends skit and then it'd be on to the Pokemon. Yes, it was... Because everything had a crossover of Pokemon. You had posters. I had walls and walls of posters, all 150. I could memorize every single one. I can't do it now because I'm old and my brain is dead. But... so many plushes, everything.
It was great.
That was a time.
It was a time.
That was a time.
What's your number 2?
My number 2, I think, is where our worlds collide a little bit more. And controversially, I think you'll wonder, why have I put this at number 2 and not number 1? But I will get to that 100%.
Oh, I know.
You know what it is. You know what it is. It's The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time.
No, that's number 1.
Well.
No.
I unapologetically love everything about this game. 100%. It is my formative game in terms of my entire existence. Mm-hmm. It is arguably one of the most innovative games of its time.
One of?
If not the. In terms of being 3D, open world, which was a concept back in the 90s, an open world game, essentially, because that is what it is.
Yep.
All these puzzles, all these like side quests and missions and you still had to work for it. You were never signposted to go like in terms of here is a marker, go here now. It's like no, you had to work all
the beginning. They're like go to the castle and then head to Kakariko Village, and then it's like, well, up to you now, figure it out.
I don't know. Well, this is your journey, hero. And I was like, I just ate that up. Again, Nintendo 64. So my dad had the Nintendo 64, and then like I think he thought it'd be funny to give me a go on it like once on this one game.
Yeah.
And that that single instant changed my life entirely.
Yep.
And set me on this path. And it was great. And I was terrified of it as well. Because the zombies.
Yeah, the skeletons. Yeah, they weren't fun.
Zombies were terrifying.
Don't mess.
I could never do any of the scary bits when I was younger. I would always ask my dad to kind of, can you kill all the things for me?
Shadow Temple.
I just wanted to run around. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, mate, the
dark.
Shadow Temple is genuinely creepy.
It's it's a beautiful, lovely, whimsical game, but it's also incredibly creepy.
Yeah.
But you had everything in it. You had mount riding. You had time travel. You had puzzles. You had gimmicks. You had everything. Link owned a house at the age of 12. Like, this is the dream.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And I love it dearly with all my heart and life and soul. But it is my number 2.
It's my number 1.
Go on.
It's my number 1 for all the reasons you just said. The interactive environments is another thing. Like, here's the thing. I almost gave up on The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. So here's bringing it back to my number 2 now. One of the members of the aforementioned Elite Four was a hardcore Nintendo head like myself. Better gamer than I was, hence his higher ranking. And he was raving about this game. I got it for Christmas, and I got into the Deku Tree, and I was like, I don't know how to progress, and I kind of just gave up on it. He came over. He's like, blah, 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 blah. You're thinking about it all wrong. You remember that part where you got to vine your way up to the top, and then you drop down the middle, and the spider net breaks?
Yes.
It was that. I was like, oh,
it's got physics.
The environment responds to you.
Yes.
And then he kept on playing, and he passed the patch. He's like, "Oh, you have a go now." Got through the Deku Tree, and then you get up to the castle, Princess Zelda, and I'm like, "Well, the gate isn't opening. What do I do?" And he showed me, climb the vine. I'm like, "Oh!" And then you have to get past the guards, and you're conditioned in '98 as a gamer to just follow the path.
Yeah.
You follow the path in Hyrule Castle, you get caught.
You get caught immediately.
So he's like, well, why aren't you going up the hill? Oh!
Yes.
So it just trained your brain to view gaming in a different way. The day-night cycle that every single game uses nowadays comes from the Ocarina of Time. Yeah. The weapon management, the assigned specific weapons to your C buttons. Resident Evil 4 and your praised mechanics of managing your weapon loadout. That's all Legend of Zelda stuff, guys. The way you could dodge and backflip, the way you could do elemental attacks. I'm sorry, that fight with Twin Rover, the sisters in the temple, in the spirit temple, where you had to absorb specific elements with the mirror shield and then bounce it back. There are so many things that you just wouldn't see in the game unless you went exploring. Epona. You could play the whole game without ever getting Epona. Like, if you didn't go to Lon Lon Ranch, you could complete the game without your horse. And you'd miss out on a huge chunk of story. Because it's that nostalgic throwback of, you played the song for Talia when she's young, and then you come back and Epona recognizes the song. And just the time. I love it.
It's just one
thing. It is perfection.
It is, 100%, and I do agree. And it's like, one thing I love about Zelda games is that it's, whenever it gets to that point where it makes you think, how did they do this?
Mm-hmm.
And I do think about that Ocarina of Time. Like, how on earth did they manage to get all of that in a little Nintendo 64 cartridge?
Crazy.
Because there was not a game like that came before it. Or after it, honestly, like for that, like it was.
Well, this is the throwback to Ragnarok.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Ragnarok is, for me, the closest I've had to an experience like the Ocarina of Time, whereby it's just like, big open world, here's some weapons. In order to progress, you will need other weapons. Figure it out.
Yeah. And it's that figure it out that I love. And I love that in games. It's why I loved it in Morrowind. I loved it in all these little ones. It's like, why I love it in Elden Ring. It's figure it out. Because it respects you as a player.
Yeah.
It respects your intelligence. It encourages you to just sit back and enjoy, which, it's not punishing. It's not like you have to do this. You have to be competitive. You have to do that. It's like you sit, enjoy, do it at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
And that is gaming. That is...
In its purest sense.
Purest sense.
In its purest sense. And there's never been a game like... Not even Zelda has managed to copy the Ocarina of Time. There's not been a Zelda game that good. And I know people, Breath of the Wild.
It's different.
Completely different.
Yeah.
It's completely different. Yes, it's got the big open world vibe. I didn't like Breath of the Wild. I didn't like Breath of the Wild, really. Didn't like it. love this one.
Sure.
Majora's Mask.
Because we should take a moment to just kind of touch on that. Since this is both our like second and your first, we can spend a bit more time on Zelda. Because Majora's Mask came to me at a time where I didn't even realize there was a sequel. And it came in that wonderful little gold cartridge, and it was just kind of dropped to me by my father. Didn't ask where he got it from, but we had it. And it was the weirdest thing I had ever picked up in my life. It had a save file on it already. Some guy called Jeff had named his character, he named his Link Jeff. He had completed everything on it. So I kind of got my dream on that. I could just roam around in this game, having everything at my disposal, all the masks, everything, and just enjoy the world in all of its creepy glory. Because it's creepy.
Hard game.
And then you look up in the sky, and what do you see?
Moon.
The most horrific moon.
Evil moon.
Most evil moon. And I was terrified. Yeah. And I was like, and the 3-day cycle, the countdown to the last final day where everything gets really ominous and really like fast paced, and you're like, I'm genuinely terrified. What is this game doing to me? I couldn't get enough of it.
No, it's incredible.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got this hype for this. What's your number one?
My number one, and anyone who knows me will know this is what it is. It's Final Fantasy X. I'm a massive Final Fantasy fan. Okay. Have been forever. My first interaction with Final Fantasy X was once again a demo disc, and you've played Final Fantasy X. I know this because we've spoken a lot about it.
The best Final Fantasy.
The best Final Fantasy. Not even a controversial take, and we'll explain why. Because there's so much to it that other Final Fantasies have just not come close to. My first instance with it was a demo disc from a PlayStation magazine. It gave you the part on Besaid Island where you fight Kimari Ronso, and that moment when I was like, this is a cutscene, like this is a movie I'm watching.
Yeah.
I had not seen anything like. I couldn't believe that that's what graphics were capable of on a PS2.
Oh, the cutscenes were amazing.
Beautiful.
Absolutely amazing. That part on the boat with the hair waving and the splashing on the face, I was like, wow, man.
So
water graphics.
Speaking, we would have a little moment about water graphics, and when we talk about, because the whole theme of Final Fantasy X is this water. Tidus, or as real gamers know, Tidus.
Absolutely.
He's all about water. His whole vibe, his whole thing, his whole flow. He's a blitzball player. It takes place in water. Even his little icon on the sphere grid is like blue aqua.
Okay, you're actually making me proper nostalgic talking about this. The sphere grid and the blitzball.
It's the most nostalgic game, and it's beautiful, and like it gets a lot of flack, I think, for its performances. But you have to think this.
Performance? What's wrong with it?
This was the first Final Fantasy game that had voice acting, and the reason the reason that it kind of feels a bit weird is because they had to match the Japanese like lip sync basically. So some lines are delivered a little rapidly, some are a little weird, but it adds to its charm. It's got the most charm. You've got John DiMaggio in it. You've got James Arnold Taylor. You've got like all these like Cree Summers in it, like and Tara Strong, like all these wonderful.
Yeah, Tara Strong's in it, of course, isn't she? Wow.
And it was such a vibe. Oren's my ultimate favorite character. And Waka. Weird John DiMaggio's Waka, who sometimes you just think that's just Bender, like he's just doing Bender with a bit of a tinge. But and the music. No Final Fantasy has ever come close to having as good of a theme and themes for its music and its locations as Final Fantasy X. The whole soundtrack is incredible from start to finish, and it's beautiful and iconic, and that From Zanarkand like intro is it's just perfect. But I do have some Final Fantasy X sins, minus the pardon the pun.
Tell me.
When I first got it, I got it very young, and the reason I got it was because like on the very I played it, I'd rent it from Blockbuster, the whole shebang, and we went to Woolworths. Remember that?
Pick and mix.
Yeah, exactly.
Pick and mix. That's why it went bust.
For whatever reason, my mum was allowing me to buy a game like brand new, or I think it was on sale, so not really. And the choice was San Andreas.
Oh.
Well done, mother. I was probably about 10 when this came out.
She didn't know.
She'd watched me play it with my cousin, and she was like, "Oh, I guess you really like this game. We'll play it." And so she was like, "Well, we'll get it for you today." And instead of picking up GTA San Andreas, I happened to look next to it, and there was that beautiful art of Yuna with that Yoshitaka Amano art, and I was like, I need this. I've been playing this, Mum, you don't understand. And she didn't understand. She had no clue. She had no concept of what this game was. She was like, are you sure? You don't want the game that all the other kids are playing? The super violent, really fun one?
Boys in the Hood game.
Literally that. And I was like, yes, but this first, please, Mother. Like,
this first, please, Mother.
This, Mother, I was 10.
I shall require Yuna.
I needed it so badly. But again, prefacing as I was about 10, so it was a bit later because it came out in 2001. I got it a bit later. I didn't quite understand how the sphere grid worked.
Yeah, okay.
It was hard. And so I looked at it and was like, no,
not for me.
Not for me.
You ignored the sphere grid.
I ignored the sphere grid, which if you have not played Final Fantasy X,
you can't ignore the sphere grid.
You cannot. It's the reason you level up, you get stronger, you do anything, you get abilities. So if you want to know how far you can get in Final Fantasy X without using the sphere grid, it's the end of Mihen High Road. And it's going to be a struggle to do it. It is punishing. I was like, why is this game so hard?
Yeah.
I was a moron. I was an idiot.
Do you know what? You're triggering all sorts of memories.
It's a great challenge, though, if you want to try and, can I beat it without using the sphere grid? You can't, but you can give it a good go.
How far can we get in ongoing stream, I detect?
Look,
This is a good idea.
I will drop anything to play Final Fantasy X on stream.
No, I would never have told that. Couldn't have told you that.
Literally anything. But it was so, and just so much about it was just so beautiful. And people can say, it's mostly just corridors. Sure.
Yes, sure.
It is.
But that was game design back then.
There was game design. There was the best
Uncharted is mostly just corridors.
Exactly, and it worked, and it was beautiful. But it was the best world building that a Final Fantasy game had ever had.
Yes.
It was a very unique setting. It was so colourful, which, all the ones now are very, moody and gritty, which is
Final
great.
Fantasy 16, many RIPs.
And I love it.
Yes.
I love Final Fantasy 16. We love Clive as a character and all them around it. But 10 was so beautiful and colourful and unique, and they've never done anything back like that.
No, 12 came close-ish.
12 came close, but it was 12 was Star Wars.
Literally.
12 was literally Star Wars.
Literally.
And it was very confusing and very political and very this is very lofty. And I played 12 immediately after 10, and I was like,
big desert section.
I was like, I don't understand this. This is not. Where's Tidus? Where's Tidus? Where's Waka?
Tidus?
Where's Yuna? So yeah, Final Fantasy X is my number one. It's my ride or die. I play it anytime I get a bit of downtime, and I'm like, you know what, I want to go back, and it's like a hug in a game, it's 10. I know it back to front, every line. Listen to my story, Nico.
I'm happy with that. And if you disagree, that's what the comment section's for. And actually, on that note, I would really like to know, what are all of your top 5 games of all time? Have at it. Let us know in the comment section below. As we mentioned, this is going to be coming on a 2-weekly basis. So every 2 weeks, we're going to bring you a new episode of Ginx Talks. You can find this if you're busy and you can't watch a full video. Not to worry. This is available in audio-only format as well. The link to the audio-only format will be in the description below, so you can find that there if you want to continue listening to it in audio-only format. Please do be sure to support our brand new YouTube channel. And also remember, we love you all, but we need some love from you all too to keep content like this coming. We do have a Patreon. Link to that is in the description below, so please do make sure, if you have a bit of spare cash, don't buy that daily Starbucks. You shouldn't buy that coffee anyway, but don't buy that daily Starbucks. Send some love our way. And actually, if you support us on Patreon, you'll have the chance to pick a topic for Alex and I to discuss on pod.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
There's some incentive for you. Support us on Patreon. Entry level, you get to direct the show. How about that for some incentive? But yeah, we've got a load of stuff coming on the new YouTube channel. Live streams, throwbacks, game reviews, first impressions from all of us here at Ginx. There is so much coming, and we're excited with this new channel. But yeah, I think that's it for this episode of Ginx Talks.
100%.
It's been real.
It's been fun.
And that's Nico and Alex from Ginx Talks out. See you guys.